Right. So today we're going deep on something pretty interesting. We're going to be taking a look at
Okay.
New Present Reality.
Yeah.
It's by Shawn Wondunna Foley.
All right.
And it's just a really quick read. I mean, you can get through it in about a minute. But
Yeah.
this author, they pack in some really big, bold predictions about kind of a major shift that they think is happening in society.
Yeah.
And they seem to think it's already underway. So today what we're going to do is unpack some of these predictions and see if they, I don't know, see if they hold water.
Yeah.
What do you say? You ready to dive in?
Let's dive in. Yeah, one of the things that I thought was really interesting was the author's use of shifting quantum fields. Now, this is a concept that we see a lot in like self-help and things like that. But here it seems to be tied to like a larger societal shift, not just like a personal transformation.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like they're saying that our collective quantum field is changing, and that's what's pushing us toward, you know, a new way of being. But I don't know. How does that actually work?
Right.
What does it even mean to shift a quantum field? I mean,
so in physics, quantum fields are these fundamental forces that govern the universe at the subatomic level.
Yeah.
But here, the author is obviously using the term more metaphorically, right? And what they seem to be suggesting is that our collective beliefs and our actions, they're almost like a magnetic force that's drawing us towards a particular set of outcomes. It's almost like, you know, the law of attraction, but on like a much grander scale.
So if enough people believe in a better future, a more cooperative, advanced society, that actually makes it more likely to happen.
Well,
I'll admit that I'm a little skeptical, but I'm definitely open to exploring the idea further.
Yeah, and skepticism is healthy. You know, the author does say that action is important as well. They're not just talking about like sitting around and wishing for things to change. They specifically talk about the need for powerful relationships that are built on trust and
mutual support in order to drive this collective progress that they're talking about.
That makes sense. I mean, you can't just manifest a type 1 civilization just by thinking about it, right? You need people working together, you know, pooling resources and knowledge to reach that level of technological and societal advancement.
Yeah, and the emphasis on powerful relationships, I think, is key here. Because they're suggesting that these connections are going to be different. They'll be based on a deeper understanding of our interconnectedness. And they think that this is what's going to allow us to overcome all the challenges that have, you know, historically prevented us from reaching that next level as a species.
So it's a very interesting idea. But if we're talking about such a dramatic shift, are there any signs of this happening right now? Is the author pointing to anything concrete?
Well, they do use this interesting metaphor, talking about the horizon of outcomes approaching at light speed.
Now, obviously, that's figurative language, but it definitely suggests a feeling of urgency. This shift is accelerating rapidly. And they do specifically tie this to the concept of a type 1 civilization, implying that we're on the verge of harnessing the full energy potential of our planet. Now, whether or not that's technologically feasible, I think that's a whole other discussion.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing to talk about shifting quantum fields and these powerful relationships, but actually achieving type 1 status would require some, you know, pretty insane advancements in renewable energy and global cooperation and how we manage our resources. Do you think maybe the author is underestimating the scale of the challenge here?
It's possible. I mean, it's important to remember this is a short piece. Just a quick glimpse into one person's vision of the future. It's meant to be thought-provoking. It's not like a detailed roadmap or anything.
That's a fair point. So if we just kind of step back for a second, what do you think the core message is that the author wants people to take away?
Well, I think it's about empowerment. The author is saying that we have a lot more agency than we realize, that our choices, both individually and collectively, they're actively shaping the future. And while they emphasize unity and love and abundance as these core values for this new reality they're talking about, they also stress that hard work and a positive mindset are important. It's not about passive wishing. It's about conscious creation.
So a blend of idealism and pragmatism.
Exactly. And I think ultimately, whether or not we buy into the specific predictions here, I think the real value is in that call to action. It's a reminder that we're not just along for the ride. We are the drivers of our own destiny, both individually and collectively.
I like that. So to everyone listening out there, does this vision of the future, does it resonate with you? Is it inspiring? Is it a bit too, I don't know, out there? And maybe the most important question is, do you see any signs that any of this is actually unfolding in the world around you.
Yeah.
The author doesn't really give us a timeline, which makes it a little bit harder to assess. But it's definitely something to think about.
Yeah, it is.
So that is our deep dive for today. If you want to learn more about Shawn Wondunna Foley and their work, you can find them at www.innerway.com.au. And until next time, keep exploring, keep thinking critically,
Right.
and keep your eye on that horizon.
Absolutely.
We'll see you next time.
Sounds good.